Breaking news, a judge temporarily blocked the merger between Paramount and Warner Brothers. This comes from a lawsuit brought by a group of Democratic states. MS Now legal affairs reporter Fallon Gallagher joins me now. Also with us, former federal prosecutor Ankush Khardori. All right, Fallon, walk us through this.
Yeah, so this is quick. First of all, this hearing happened on Friday afternoon. This judge is temporarily blocking this merger. And I want to be clear because we talk about temporary blocks a lot. This is the immediate emergency temporary restraining order. So this will block this for a period of 14 days while the judge gets additional briefing from the states who are suing to block this on a preliminary injunction, which would be a longer term block that would be in place while litigation continues. Now, that hearing is going to happen very soon because, again, this is a 14-day block. So that hearing is going to happen in California on August 3rd when they'll argue for a longer term block on the actual merits of the merger. But at this point in this temporary restraining order, the judge is starting to sort of show her hand a little bit about the rationale for why this block is happening. And that's because this would combine two of the, 5 biggest major Hollywood studios. And then also, of course, something that's a little bit closer to home for us in our industry, but 2 of the biggest cable news programmers, CNN and CBS, would be affected by this. And so they're saying that if you're looking at the numbers, they specifically talk about it in the terms of Hollywood theatrical releases, you're looking at a 27% market share if this merger were to happen. Usually when you get to 30%, that's when it becomes a violation of antitrust laws. And so this judge is saying that based on what she can see at this point, based on what she knows, it looks like that this deal will likely violate those antitrust laws.
Ankush, should we be surprised by this judge's ruling, or should we be surprised that the alarm bells over antitrust didn't go off sooner?
This is definitely good news for the challengers. So I want to just get that out front. It's the first step in their effort to block the whole thing. It's not that surprising to me simply because this is sort of what you would expect in a high-profile merger case where there are real live disputes on the facts. So as Fallon just said, this is not a final ruling. It is a pause that will allow the judge to get more evidence and more submissions ahead of an additional hearing for a preliminary injunction. And that hearing could really kind of be the whole ballgame, because a preliminary injunction that blocks the deal pending a more complete litigation could, as a practical matter, end up tying the thing up for a year or two, which the parties then, in situations like that, can frequently just abandon the merger altogether. So I don't want to get too far ahead. That's down the line. But this was a critical win for the states, and it is going to slow down Paramount's effort. And I'm sure all of the corporate officers there are very unhappy with this outcome, even though it's not the final resolution. In terms of whether they should have gotten other additional scrutiny, certainly. Even, setting aside my own views on the merger, which are tentative, and, I want to see more evidence from the parties, there was no reason for the Justice Department to just lay down on this. And it does have all the hallmarks of, political connections, and the fact that the Trump administration has wanted this merger to go through. President Trump hates CNN and has been touting the efforts to sort of kneecap CNN. So this absolutely should have gotten the scrutiny from the Justice Department, and it's good that the states have stepped up and ensured that there will be some serious review on the merits of this transaction.